Why did Jungkook cry so uncontrollably? Who was the person behind the unexpected reunion that left the BTS stars speechless, his eyes red and swollen with tears? Was it joy, guilt, or something deeper that brought this international icon to his knees in front of everyone? In a moment that stunned even his superiors, Jungkook, known for his strong, composed presence in the South Korean military, was seen crying for several minutes in the arms of someone no one had expected to see, a friend from his distant past. It was a scene that made even the toughest soldiers look away in silence, their hearts heavy from witnessing the raw vulnerability of someone usually seen as unbreakable. A mystery guest appears. It all started with a surprise visit, authorized but kept confidential, when a civilian guest arrived at Jungkook's division base under strict security protocols. While soldiers and officers alike wondered who could warrant such privacy and respect, none expected the visitor to be a figure from Jungkook's life before fame. Eyewitnesses report that when Jungkook saw the guest, he froze. For a few seconds, there was no reaction, just silence. Then, without warning, Jungkook dropped his military cap, ran forward, and embraced the visitor in a tight hug, sobbing without restraint. The man, believed to be in his late 20s, quietly held Jungkook as he cried. Some say they could hear Jungkook whispering, "I thought you were gone," while the friend simply responded, "I promised I'd come back." The man who disappeared. Insiders later confirmed that the man was a childhood friend of Jungkook's, someone who had not only known him before BTS existed, but who reportedly saved Jungkook from a dangerous accident during their teenage years. He literally pulled Jungkook out of harm's way back in high school, one anonymous source shared. It was a situation that could have cost Jungkook his life. After that incident, the two had lost contact. Rumors circulated that the friend had gone abroad, possibly due to family issues or even military obligations of his own. Jungkook had allegedly tried to find him for years, but all traces had vanished. A reunion that opened old wounds. Though cameras were not officially allowed during the visit, a few photos have leaked, showing Jungkook with teary eyes, his uniform slightly crumpled from the emotional embrace. Many who witnessed the moment say they've never seen Jungkook so vulnerable, not even during major public events or personal hardships. He was shaking. Not from fear, but from emotional shock, said one military officer who saw the interaction up close. You could feel the bond between them. It wasn't just reunion, it was healing. But the reunion also stirred rumors. Whispers behind closed doors. Why did this friend vanish so completely after such a pivotal event in Jungkook's life? Some fans speculate that there was a falling out, possibly tied to how sudden fame changed Jungkook's world. Others believe the friend may have been involved in a sensitive situation that required him to disappear for legal or personal reasons. Some even wonder, was Jungkook's grief in that hug not only out of joy, but regret? Jungkook's emotional response leaves ARMY torn. The ARMY, BTS's global fandom, is split between tears and concern. Many have expressed admiration for Jungkook's authenticity and loyalty, while others are worried that his breakdown may hint at unresolved trauma. It's heartbreaking to see him like this, one fan commented. It reminds us he's still just a human who's been through so much. What happened between them? Another fan asked. Jungkook's tears looked like they came from years of buried pain. Silence from Big Hit sparked speculation. Big Hit Music has not released an official statement regarding the visit. Their silence has only fueled speculation, with hashtags like #JungkookReunion, #WhoIsHe, and #JungkookTears trending across X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The company's choice to remain quiet may be part of respecting Jungkook's privacy, but the world wants answers. Who is this man? Why did his return shake Jungkook to the core? What happens now? What's clear is that this wasn't just an ordinary reunion. It was a collision between past and present, a reminder that even global icons carry memories that shape them beyond the spotlight. As Jungkook continues his military service, fans now look at him not just as a superstar or a soldier, but as someone who has faced loss, longing, and the unspoken burden of unresolved friendship. Will this visit reopen doors for healing, or reveal secrets that some wanted to keep buried? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, that tearful embrace wasn't just about the past, it changed Jungkook's present, and maybe even his future. As whispers intensify across social media, some fans claim to have uncovered fragments of Jungkook's past. Unverified posts from alleged schoolmates describe a tall, quiet boy who used to shadow Jungkook during his high school years in Busan. A boy who was fiercely protective, always the first to shield Jungkook from bullies or danger. Back then, Jungkook wasn't as outgoing as he is now, wrote one anonymous commenter. That guy was his wall. Everyone knew not to mess with Jungkook if he was around. Another shocking revelation comes from a now viral tweet featuring a blurred yearbook photo with a caption. He was more than a friend. Some say he was Jungkook's first heartbreak. Could this be more than just a story of long-lost friendship? Was there something deeper, an emotional connection that never had closure? A bond beyond words. What did Jungkook whisper in his arms? Multiple insiders, who were present during the unexpected reunion, stated that Jungkook didn't say much at first. He simply collapsed into the man's arms, as if a weight had finally been lifted after years of carrying it alone. But those who stood close enough to hear the emotional exchange report something chilling. "I waited for you. I thought you died." And then came the most haunting reply from the friend. "I came back because I couldn't forget you either." It was in that moment that Jungkook reportedly dropped to his knees, his face buried in his friend's chest, his uniform drenched in tears. The military base, normally strict and disciplined, turned silent. Even the officers lowered their heads out of respect for the overwhelming display of pain and healing, traumatized or relieved. The psychological toll behind Jungkook's embrace. Experts in trauma and emotional behavior who viewed the leaked footage were quick to point out Jungkook's shaking hands, unsteady breath, and clenched jaw. This wasn't just a tearful reunion, it was a traumatic release, said Dr. Lim Hanol, a psychologist who studies emotional suppression in military personnel. For someone like Jungkook, who's had to be perfect for years, this may have been the only safe moment he's had to feel everything he's buried. In a recent private update to fans, Jungkook's handwritten notes subtly hinted at the experience. There are moments that break you, but in that brokenness, you sometimes find who you really are again. Fans immediately interpreted this as a reference to the reunion. Some even theorized that Jungkook had been carrying survivor's guilt, believing his friend had died because of something left unsaid. A visit that wasn't approved? The military response. Controversy grew when Korean military officials were contacted regarding the surprise visit. According to reports, the visit wasn't part of the standard family or friend visitation program, leading to questions about who approved it and why. Speculation began to spread. Was this visit arranged through Big Hit's influence? Did Jungkook secretly request this reunion? Or was this friend someone of importance beyond what fans know? A military spokesperson eventually addressed the issue, stating, "Private First Class John Jungkook received a special visit under approved humanitarian circumstances. No regulations were violated." The vague statement only ignited more questions than it answered. He saved me before. Maybe he just saved me again. Back at the barracks, fellow soldiers reportedly noticed a shift in Jungkook after the visit. He seemed quieter, more introspective. He skipped group meals for a few days, choosing instead to spend time alone, sometimes writing in his notebook, sometimes simply staring at the sky. "He's not the same," one soldier noted. Not in a bad way, just different. Like something that was broken finally got mended. One senior officer shared that Jungkook, during a late-night watch, said something that deeply affected him. "He saved me back then, maybe he just saved me again." What could this mean? Is Jungkook referring to emotional healing? Or something even darker? A controversial friend with a shattered past? The internet has not been kind to the mystery man. Some fans began digging into old forums, trying to trace who this friend really is. Unverified posts allege the man may have had a troubled past, including dropping out of school, disappearing after a rumored fight, and spending time overseas in rehabilitation. While none of these claims are confirmed, the mere suggestion that Jungkook is reconnecting with someone unstable has divided fans. Supporters say, he was there for Jungkook when no one else was. Who are we to judge their bond? Critics argue, why reconnect now, in the middle of Jungkook's military service, when he's most vulnerable? Big Hit has not responded to inquiries about the friend's background. Fans demand a statement. But should Jungkook speak? With millions of fans watching his every move, pressure is mounting for Jungkook to explain the reunion. But some ARMY members insist he owes no one an explanation. He gave us his voice, his time, his youth. One viral post read, "Let him have this one moment for himself." Still, others point out that Jungkook's emotional state seemed so intense that fans are genuinely worried about his mental health. Is he okay? What happened between them that was so powerful, it broke him in front of everyone? Will he talk about it in his future documentary? The world is watching, but more importantly, they're feeling. Jungkook's vulnerability has pierced the hardened shell of celebrity and reminded everyone that beneath the fame is a boy who once lost something irreplaceable and just found it again.